Explorers, we are out in Kingman, Arizona, on down Route 66 a little bit at the PowerHouse Museum and Gift Shops. It was originally a steam power plant back in the day, and it's been converted over to 2 or 3 different things, but it's finally really a nice museum. It's got a lot of beautiful memorabilia from the Route 66 days, the power plant days. We're just going to take a walk around and look at some of it and see what all we can find. That's what the Route 66 memorabilia here. They're in an old jukebox, old AMI, which that was actually bowling alley equipment also at one time. Old wagon with Mom and Pa and probably a kid messing around somewhere. Grandma up there in the picture. We got maps on the wall. Absolutely amazing. Look at that old vehicle that they used to try to make it up Route 66. And some of the passes I've gone through today, they said they even had to back the cars up some of the passes, and they had tow trucks available because the gravity fed fuel systems back in the day, they shut off trying to go frontwards up those steep inclines because they didn't have fuel pumps back in the day. On the old bridges and water towers. It's absolutely amazing to look at the history out here. The Dust Bowl was a major destructive force that came into play in the Old West back in the 1931 and ending in 39. It basically just covered everything and created a lot of issues for people. Look that up if you'd like a little bit more information on it. These are just different maps, as I was talking about, to take you from city to city and show you some of the things that are involved. Look at this creation right here. There's Grandma, Ma, little child, probably Dad trying to get the truck going up the hill. And this is exactly an example of what I was talking about earlier in one of my videos. Out on the side of the road changing tires, trying to get those old vehicles, those old cars up those rough mountain passes and everything. If you look, can you imagine that many people in one vehicle? It'd flip over in a heartbeat. The road, the life that you used to have back in the old days. People say they like to go back to them. I would, but just for a little while. Here's a little something I wanted to show you, adventures that I've definitely heard of, and it's something that you definitely wanted to carry along out in the desert in these old cars, because if you notice a lot of the old movies, they always show the radiator cap right here always steaming, and you had a water bag that you carried not only for yourself, but you also carried it to get water for your vehicle when it overheated out in the desert. You usually carried those and got them filled up at different service stations or filling stations along the way. Just look at those old tires. How in the world those things would handle what they had to back in the day. I always had to have some tools to try to get through and survive. Look at those faces of those children right there. On the side of the road, pampering the child while they're out there broken down. Mile after mile after mile of nothing. Old classic. Let's see what we have right here. Old Studebaker. With an old US Highway 66 sticker on it. Champion version Studebaker. And look at the front of this car. Have you ever seen anything as beautiful as this? Just look at that. Panning on around. Fixing to show you a little something right here that was pretty neat as far as an addition back in the day. Didn't have air conditioning back in the day, but they had car coolers. Mounted in your window and blew air through a turbine system into the actual car to help cool you off as you're going down the road. Just created a batch of airflow, basically is what it did, but it still helped. Those extremely high temperatures out in the desert, 100 plus, even in Death Valley, you're running 117 to 120 degrees. Can you imagine that? And look at old Susie in the back with her little baby puppy dog there. All the old license tags. Some of the old credit cards that used to be on her. Chevron, Standard, DX, Atlantic, Richfield, Shoho, Ramada ends, Carte Blanc, and look at that old MasterCard. And you have a mock-up of an old garage. Richfield oil, Richfield gasoline, 14.9 cents a gallon. And it says it must be full before fuel delivery to make sure you're getting a full amount of gas through the nozzle. Oh, it's beautiful paraphernalia you've got in here. They even got a little kiddie area right here with these murals on the wall. Pretty cool little museum, if I must say. A lot of really interesting, eclectic stuff that we're getting to see. Got some little fake storefront set up here. Looks like this is somebody's front parlor or entryway to their house right here. Old telephone, dial phone. It's like an old embossing stamp up there. And I remember these old devices that used to sit on the motel's front desk. You put your city on one side by spinning a knob, and then you put where you wanted to go in the next display window, and it told you how far it was from point A to point B. Come here and get your hair did up. And it looks like not only get your hair did up, but you could also get some Bayer aspirin and probably your teeth pulled or whatever you needed to get done. Look at those old-fashioned hair dryers. All the stuff the barbers used to use back in the day. My grandpa even had a pair of hair clippers like that as a manual clipper system. And it looks like we got a little mercantile right here. All sorts of stuff, even sewing threads and rip dye. Whitman samplers, ooh, those are good. They're even around today. Old cash register, Ritz crackers, and crystal white soap. And even a parking meter. Looks like this pretty well ends the tour on the upper level. Let's walk downstairs and see what we can find downstairs, adventurers. I'm sure we can find some more good stuff. Got an electric vehicle museum down on the lower floor we're going to get to check out here in just a second. So let's try to head on down and see what we can find. They even got a little theater here if you wanted to sit and watch some movies. I'm out the old Route 66 in Kingman, Arizona area. And this is the historic electric vehicle exhibit. I'll walk in and see what we can find here. Pretty cool museum to say the least. Route 66 Electric Vehicle Museum. All sorts of small to full-size electric vehicles, and electric was even imported back in these days. Always trying to find alternative sources. Lyman Electric Quad, manufactured in 1979. They go about 40 to 50 miles. Wouldn't take you, you'd have to charge up quite often to get to where you need to go. Really cool museum. Look at this old EV replica. No steering wheel. It's got a little I guess you could say joystick control. No steering wheels in these type either, a little joystick control. Here's an electric race car. Grumman.
He's an expert at wiring, and he's here to wire.
It's like some kind of Jeep.
Hey, Eon, you made it. Yeah, let's go. Great. So now we have
Toyota EV. Genesis. And a kilowatt. Any kilowatt company. Manufactured between 1959 and 1960 in the United States of America. Detroit Electric. Even kitty cars. It's like an early version of some type of up around made for maybe someone that was sick. It was an electric wheelchair. So even all these electric charging stations we see around the U.S., there's even forethoughts back in the old days. The new ones that you got, like you plug up to your new vehicles. EV charging only. So, adventures, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off here. We've pretty well covered a lot of ground in this museum, and hope you've enjoyed the opportunity to look around with me on this tour. And until our next adventure, have a great day. Bye-bye now.